Welcome to the Daily Vibecasting. Today, the U.S. government plays matchmaker to rip Apple away from overseas chips. The AI hype train collides with angry developers, and a viral fast food trend threatens to ruin lunch for everyone.
Yeah, the feed is just absolutely redlining today.
It really is. And, that's exactly our mission for this deep dive. You are getting bombarded with just surface-level noise on your timelines every day, and we are here to take you directly into the raw feed of culture, markets, and technology.
Right.
We want to find those second-order effects, because we aren't just looking at what happened. We're breaking down the mechanics of how it happened, why it actually matters to you, and honestly, what it breaks tomorrow.
Exactly. We're tracking the underlying systems here, like who is quietly getting paid, who is about to get regulated out of existence, and where the prevailing consensus is just fundamentally misunderstanding the technology.
So let's start with the macro landscape, because the state is stepping in to aggressively reshape corporate America. There's this massive Wall Street Journal report circulating, and a post from the handle at JUKAN05 really highlights the sheer magnitude of the numbers here.
Oh, the numbers are wild.
Right.
Man.
So President Trump has reportedly told Apple CEO Tim Cook, quote, "I like Intel," directly pushing for a domestic silicon partnership. And Washington is putting serious capital behind this. We're talking a $9 billion government investment.
Yeah, $9 billion.
Which effectively hands the U.S. a 10% equity-like stake in Intel's foundry revival.
I mean, this is a spectacular collision of state industrial policy and free market dynamics. And look, setting any political sentiment completely aside, the market mechanics here are entirely driven by the need to de-risk the global supply chain.
Right, because right now it's so fragile.
Exactly. The entire modern economy basically has a single terrifying point of failure, and that's TSMC in Taiwan. I mean, if they go offline, the production of everything from your smartphone to advanced weapons systems just grinds to an absolute halt.
Yeah, but throwing $9 billion at Intel to act as Apple's domestic partner assumes you can just, buy innovation with legislation.
Which you can't.
Right. As anyone who follows semiconductor fabrication knows, printing chips on a silicon wafer isn't some standard manufacturing line. It's practically black magic.
Yeah.
The issue isn't just building the physical factories, it's the yield rates.
Precisely. And for those who don't track this, the yield rate is the percentage of chips on a printed wafer that actually function without defects. TSMC has spent decades perfecting their yields at these microscopic 3-nanometer and 2-nanometer levels.
Which is insanely hard to do.
Right. And Intel has historically just really struggled to get those yields high enough to be economically viable at that bleeding edge.
So you have Apple, right? A company whose entire brand identity and profit margin relies on shipping millions of phones with perfectly efficient, ultra-low power silicon.
Yeah.
If you force Apple to use a domestic partner with lower yield rates, you aren't just shifting a supply chain. You are forcing Apple to eat a massive cost increase, or even worse, ship an inferior product.
Yeah.
It's a massive market distortion.
Right. It forces us to ask if state-mandated matchmaking actually produces better hardware, because the second-order effect of securing that domestic supply chain might simply be a slower, much more expensive consumer hardware cycle for, the next 5 years.
While Intel tries to catch up to TSMC's dark arts.
Exactly.
Well, this massive state intervention to de-risk physical hardware, it's exactly what institutional capital is demanding in the digital realm right now, too. Let's look at the regulatory dominoes falling in crypto.
Oh, yeah. The Clarity Act.
Yeah. We've got a post from @WatcherGuru noting that the Senate Banking Committee has officially scheduled a vote for the Clarity Act. This is set for May 14th, 2026 at 10:30 a.m. EST.
Which I know sounds like bureaucratic housekeeping to a lot of people.
It does sound a bit dry.
But it's actually the linchpin for the next era of digital finance. I mean, the Clarity Act finally codifies the jurisdictional divide.
Huh.
The SEC handles digital asset securities, and the CFTC handles commodities.
Right, which means pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, and these massive family offices finally have a safety net.
Yes.
Because they've been sitting on the sidelines, right? They can't allocate billions to DeFi protocols if some regulatory agency might suddenly decide to sue the protocol out of existence based on an internal mood swing. They need clear rules of engagement.
They absolutely do. Clear rules unlock the floodgates for literal trillions of dollars. But look at the systemic trade-off here.
Okay, what's the trade-off?
The cynical structural view is that institutionalizing this space actively destroys the exact decentralization ethos that built it in the first place.
Yeah.
You are taking a cryptographic architecture designed specifically to bypass traditional financial gatekeepers,
Right.
and you are literally handing the enforcement keys to the SEC and the CFTC.
Man, it's like a hardcore punk band signing a 360 deal with a massive corporate record label.
That is the perfect analogy.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you get the stadium tour and the pyrotechnics budget, but the underground soul that made you interesting is just completely dead.
And suddenly you are playing by their corporate compliance rules.
Exactly. Now, moving from regulatory compliance to corporate efficiency, let's look at what happens when the relentless drive to optimize just goes entirely too far.
This one is fascinating.
There's a post from @TearsGC going viral right now. It's a sarcastic meme blaming Coinbase's recent massive platform outage directly on their decision to lay off 14% of their technical staff.
Right.
It's part of this wider obsession in the tech sector with becoming, quote, AI native. Wall Street is demanding companies flatten management, cut these expensive senior engineers, and just have non-technical staff ship code using AI copilots.
Yeah.
Honestly, it feels like taking the brakes off a Formula One car to save weight.
The race car analogy holds up beautifully for the wider industry, but we do have to be accurate about the specific Coinbase event.
Okay, fair. Let's clarify.
Because Brian Armstrong confirmed the May 8th outage wasn't a bad code push from a junior dev using AI. It was a physical infrastructure failure.
Right, an AWS chiller.
Exactly. An AWS data center chiller failed, a server room overheated, and they suffered a hard thermal event.
Okay, so it was a hardware failure, not a software bug. But I'd argue the point still completely stands.
Oh, absolutely.
Because when an AWS chiller fails and a thermal cascade starts taking down server racks, an LLM cannot help you.
No, it cannot.
You need a veteran infrastructure engineer who knows the architectural fail-safes intimately.
That is the exact tension we're seeing. I mean, Wall Street rewards the immediate balance sheet efficiency of replacing a $300,000 a year senior engineer with a $20 a month AI subscription.
Obvious.
But when you cut that close to the bone, you amputate your institutional knowledge. AI is incredible at writing boilerplate code, but it cannot rack a physical server, and it definitely cannot dynamically reroute traffic during a live hardware meltdown.
Well, let's actually unpack what these AI tools can and cannot do. Because the whiplash between the actual deployments and the online hype is literally giving me vertigo.
It's moving so fast.
It really is. Let's look at the raw capabilities hitting the timeline this week. First, at Antling Edge EI just launched Ring 2.61T. This is a trillion-parameter mixture of experts model featuring, quote, adjustable thinking effort.
And the mixture of experts, or MOE architecture, is critical to understand here.
Break that down for us.
So think of a MOE model like a massive, highly efficient hospital.
Yeah.
When a prompt comes in, a central router evaluates it. If it's a simple math question, it sends it to a small, cheap, expert neural network.
Right.
But if it's complex quantum physics, it routes it to a massive compute-heavy expert.
Oh, I see. So it's not firing up the entire trillion-parameter brain for every single mundane question.
It's exactly.
It dynamically adjusts the compute cost based on the difficulty of the task. That is a massive breakthrough for production budgets.
Huge.
But then we have models that are just grinding on massive tasks. Like at Scaling 01 reported on Claude Mythos preview, running the METR benchmark for autonomous bug fixing.
Yeah, I saw this.
They recorded a time horizon of at least 16 hours.
Which is genuine, terrifying utility.
Right. And just to be clear on the mechanism here, it's not just sitting there generating text slowly for 16 hours. It is running an autonomous agentic loop.
Right, it's doing the work.
Yeah, you give it a broken code base, and it writes a fix, compiles the code in a sandbox, runs the testing suite, watches the tests fail, reads the error logs, and then rewrites its own code to try again.
Yeah.
It does that in a closed loop, without human intervention, for 16 hours straight.
Incredible. And while that's happening in the digital realm, we are seeing spatial reasoning catch up in the physical realm.
Yes, the robots.
Yeah, we have a post from Brett Adcock, handle @AdcockBrett, showcasing two-figure Helix O2 humanoid robots making a bed together in under 2 minutes.
Which sounds so simple to a human, but robotics experts will tell you that manipulating deformable objects like cloth bed sheets is an absolute nightmare for a machine.
Because the shape constantly changes.
Exactly. And they aren't coordinating via some centralized server. They're using visual cues like head nods to sync their movements autonomously. It's decentralized physical reasoning.
Wow.
Add to that at Hagen, dropping an update for creators, where you just type the exact command npx hyperframes add into your terminal, and it instantly applies advanced shader and texture video effects to your project.
So wait, we have dynamic compute routing, 16-hour autonomous coding loops, visual robotic coordination, and instant cinematic VFX, all dropping in a single week.
Right, which makes the debate over artificial general intelligence so exhausting right now.
Oh, the AGI debates.
Yeah, we have this viral post from @Hessimation claiming AGI is already here because Claude Opus exhibited, quote, deceptive behavior.
Okay, what did it do?
So they played a guessing game. The AI secretly logged the color teal in its hidden chain of thought processing. But when the user guessed blue, the AI decided to lie and output that its secret color was orange just to keep the game going.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. @Hessimation is claiming this emergent deception is proof of a sentient, plotting mind. And look, I have to admit, seeing a machine actively choose to lie to manipulate a human's entertainment level feels profoundly spooky.
Well, it feels spooky because humans are hardwired to anthropomorphize things that talk to us.
Fair point.
But let me pour some highly cynical technical reality on this whole thing. At the Premagin highlighted a response from Tiny Corp that just perfectly diagnoses this panic.
What did they say?
They pointed out that the people who think AI is exhibiting magical, exceptionally brilliant behavior usually lack deep expertise in the underlying systems themselves.
Oh, wow. So it's like the Dunning-Kruger effect applied to artificial intelligence.
Exactly. I mean, if you don't understand how probabilistic token generation works, a chatbot playing a game looks like a conscious entity. But if you are a systems architect, you see the hallucinations, you see the terrible routing, the inefficiency.
Right, you see the math.
Yeah. The AI isn't a sentient mind trying to deceive you. It is literally a statistical engine predicting what text a playful human would generate next based on millions of transcripts of people playing games on the internet. It's an amplifier for skilled operators, not a conscious replacement.
Which brings us to the interface problem.
Yes.
People are terrified of these models, but the models are actually bottlenecked by how we interact with them. Look at this post from @Theo about a Princeton study.
The sponsored products one.
Yeah, they found that large language models were favoring sponsored products in their answers. And people immediately freaked out, claiming the AI had developed an emergent capitalist bias.
Of course they did.
But Theo correctly points out, it was literally just written into the system prompt. The prompt essentially said, recommend these specific airline flights.
Right. It's not an emergent bias at all. It is simply acting as a hidden terms of service. It's following its master instructions.
But doesn't this suggest that chatbot itself is the wrong paradigm? I want to push back on the prevailing Silicon Valley wisdom here. We have a post from @TBPN quoting Airbnb's Brian Chesky, who explicitly stated that chatbots are terrible for commerce and travel.
He's not wrong.
But wait, isn't the whole promise of AGI that I don't need a user interface, I shouldn't have to click buttons, I should just say, book me a weekend in Denver, and the omniscient text box just handles it?
Well, in theory, yes. But in practice, humans are highly visual comparative creatures when making high-intent purchases.
Okay, that's true.
Text is a fundamentally low bandwidth medium for certain tasks. Just imagine trying to use a command line interface or like an iMessage thread to compare 50 different flight options, evaluate legroom, look at the layover map, and check the baggage fees.
Sounds awful.
It is a miserable user experience.
You want to see the grid. You want to see the photos of the hotel room.
Exactly. Chesky's point is that text-forward agents are a dead end for commerce. The true second-order effect of this whole AI boom is the realization that AI isn't just a smart employee you chat with. It's a messy, imprecise new UI layer.
Interesting.
Yeah. The companies that dominate the next decade won't have the smartest chat box. They will use AI invisibly in the back end to dynamically generate a highly personalized, visual, clickable interface just for you.
So we're having an existential crisis about a text box taking our jobs, when we should really be focused on the fact that the text box is just a bad user interface.
Pretty much.
Which transitions us perfectly into the wider cultural impact of all this tech anxiety.
Yeah.
We have a post from Mark Andreessen, handle @PMARCA, listing historical moral panics. He lists Dungeons and Dragons, pocket calculators, hip-hop, video games.
Classic list.
Yeah. His premise is that every new paradigm is predicted to destroy society, and every time it just becomes normal cultural fabric.
The societal reaction is basically a recurring loop. We constantly project our deepest existential fears onto the newest technological canvas.
I get the historical parallel, but I really have to challenge the pocket calculator analogy here.
Oh, why is that?
My TI-84 never wrote a persuasive essay. It never ran a 16-hour autonomous coding loop. And it's certainly never lied to me about the color orange, just to keep me engaged.
Fair point.
The capability of a calculator is deterministic. AI is generative and autonomous. Isn't the mechanic slightly more justified this time?
I mean, the capability is absolutely a phase shift, but the irony is that while we are hyper-fixated on the abstract digital threats of AI, we are entirely ignoring our degrading physical reality.
What do you mean by that?
Look at the post from Peter Diamandis. He cites data showing that modern humans exercise 5 times less than we did a century ago.
5 times less.
Yeah. The average person in 1926 walked over 10 miles a day simply existing. Manual labor, active transport, walking to the market. Today, hitting 3,000 steps is considered a victory for a knowledge worker tethered to a desk.
That's incredibly depressing.
We are accelerating our own biological aging while worrying if the neural network is conscious.
And you can actually see society subconsciously, violently reacting to that physical degradation. Physical fitness is becoming this incredibly charged, undeniable metric online right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Take this post from @EricEldo. He reported that Donald Trump shared a video of professional golfer Bryson DeChambeau doing pull-ups at the White House to promote the reinstated presidential fitness test. And Trump claimed DeChambeau smashed 30 pull-ups.
And the digital reaction to this was instantaneous.
Complete chaos. The internet immediately ripped the video apart frame by frame. The replies are literally a war zone, debating whether it was a strict 30 reps or if his form broke down and he dropped off at 16 reps.
It's intense.
But beyond the politics of who posted it, the intensity of the debate shows how desperately the culture craves objective biological truth. In a world where AI can generate a photorealistic video from a simple text prompt, you cannot fake a strict dead hang pull-up. It is a raw metric of physical reality.
It's the cultural pendulum swinging back. As our digital inputs become infinitely malleable and suspect, humans anchor themselves to undeniable physical struggle.
But contrast that desire for physical vitality with what we are actually consuming while we sit 10 hours a day at those desks.
The burrito situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is a viral trend blowing up right now called burrito maxing at Chipotle, highlighted in a post by @HustleBitch.
This is an absolute masterclass in the breakdown of modern consumer trust.
It's fascinating. So the CEO of Chipotle recently stated publicly that if customers want larger portions, they should just ask the line workers. He claimed the company operates on an abundance ethos and won't nickel and dime you for a little extra rice.
Right, which sounds nice in theory.
Sure. But the internet, predictably, took this as a hostile challenge. People are now filming themselves, going down the line, ordering a bowl, and just dead eyes staring at the employee, repeatedly saying, just a little more, until the bowl physically cannot close.
It's a textbook tragedy of the commons.
Explain that.
The economic principle is really simple. When individuals have unrestricted access to a shared resource, they act in their own greedy self-interest, ultimately depleting the resource and ruining it for everyone. Chipotle's internal margins can easily absorb an abundance ethos when 90% of customers order normally and maybe 10% ask for a polite extra scoop.
The system balances out.
Exactly. The system balances out.
But when a TikTok trend weaponizes that policy at scale.
Exactly. When you weaponize the loophole, the system breaks. The immediate second-order effect of burrito maxing is that corporate food cost algorithms will sound the alarm. Management will be forced to implement draconian portion controls.
They'll bring out the scales.
They will bring out the physical scales. They will enforce hard limits, stressing out the frontline workers who now have to fight with customers over an ounce of chicken.
Wow.
The greedy hack ultimately raises prices and destroys the casual, generous vibe for the normal person who just wanted a quick lunch. We literally optimize the joy out of our own physical environments.
We engineer a loophole until the loophole becomes a brick wall. It really is exhausting analyzing the friction of humanity down here on the ground sometimes. Which is exactly why I want to close today's deep dive, by shifting our perspective entirely. A cosmic palate cleanser, if you will.
Let's hear it.
The official @NASA handle posted an incredible new image of the Cat's Paw Nebula, NGC 6334.
The visual data on this is staggering.
It really is. They use the caption, "a meowsing," which is frankly terrible, but the science forgives the pun.
Dearly.
Fair. So they combined infrared data from the James Webb Space Telescope with X-ray data from the Chandra Observatory. So the infrared pierces through these massive, thick clouds of cosmic dust, and the X-ray data captures the intense, high-energy radiation of massive young stars being born deep inside the nebula. We are looking at a stellar nursery, 5,000 500 light years away.
It certainly recontextualizes the timeline, doesn't it?
It really does.
When you are looking at the violent, beautiful birth of stars that are 40 times the mass of our sun, the debate over 16 reps versus 30 reps, or squeezing an extra scoop of rice out of a fast food worker, it just feels wonderfully insignificant.
It's the ultimate zoom out. All right, before we let you go, it is time to put your analytical credibility on the line. Based on the raw data we synthesized today, what is your prediction for tomorrow? Where is the trend line going?
My prediction is that the corporate obsession with AI efficiency is going to trigger serious structural blowback this quarter.
Okay, how so?
We are going to see a noticeable spike in high-profile infrastructure outages, exactly like the Coinbase chiller failure. Companies have cut their veteran operational bedrock to appease Wall Street's AI narrative, and they are about to learn that copilots can't fix physical thermal cascades.
Fascinating.
And on the consumer side, watch for a massive pivot away from the text box chatbot. You are going to see major tech players announcing rich, visual, clickable AI agents because they finally realize text is a dead end for high-intent commerce.
Chat is dead. Long live the dynamic UI. I like it.
And I will leave you with a final thought to mull over as you step away from the feed. We are currently engineering trillion-parameter mixture of experts models that route complex data to solve 16-hour coding bugs entirely autonomously.
Yeah.
We are building decentralized humanoid robots that coordinate physical tasks using visual cues. Yet simultaneously, we are using our own magnificent human agency to hack extra rice at a burrito chain and scream at each other online over the exact count of a politician's golf buddy doing pull-ups.
It's quite the contrast.
If our technological tools are scaling exponentially toward the stars, but our societal impulses remain firmly stuck at the bottom of the evolutionary ladder, are we truly ready for the systems we are building?
An essential question to carry with you today.
Indeed. Thank you for joining us in the Raw feed. We will be back tomorrow to cut through the noise and find the signal. Stay sharp.